Mr. Hargrave here, your professional Marvel Strike Force advisor, back with another budget builds. Today we're going to talk about the Asgardians. Yes, our favorite defense team has slipped out of the meta recently with just about every new team coming into the game being able to beat it. I'm going to talk about the minimum T4s you need to make this viable on war defense mainly. We could also talk about just getting it working in Blitz. There's a few interesting things here we can get into. Let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it, and let's start with the most interesting and I think still most vital member of the team, and that is going to be Hela. Hela back here in the black and green, looking good today. I've got her fully maxed out. A lot of us do have her maxed out, especially if we're taking her into dark dimensions, either 3 or 2 or 4, all of them. She's really good in just about all game modes, other than she's fallen out of the arena a while ago, but she was there for a minute as well. So a solid kit here. Let's see what we need at a minimum for her. Gonna pretty much recommend that everybody playing the game today has a maxed out Hela. I'm not going to be taking her to tier 15 myself for Dark Dimension 4, although I know it's a very good idea and a lot of people are doing it. She's just a little too expensive for me, so she didn't quite fit into my plan, and so I've kind of just let her... right now she's serving a purpose. Her main purpose for me is in raids. And when you have a raid character, you do want to max out all the abilities since you kind of get to use them all, especially for those longer nodes that take a lot of time to get through. But other than that, I have her on a team with Zemo for war. She's really good. You can do a lot more things if you put her on war offense than you can on defense. But today we're talking about a budget, so we're looking to see what's the minimum viable. You don't need this. This is her basic. Doesn't really come up too much. It's definitely nice, but you don't need it. Her special also really nice. You get to apply Disrupted for 2 turns instead of, I believe up here it's just the 1. Yeah, you get 1 turn up here, and when you upgrade it, you get 2 turns. That can be pretty big. It could definitely get you a defense win. I would put that in that A rank category. Let me grab something to write with. Once again, doing all these videos live on Twitch, you'll notice a lack of editing in my videos. That's because I don't have time for it. I do not edit. Might get there someday, but as of right now, we don't edit. Hela, she is, I would say her special, and I believe her special is 220. I would give that an A. It's something you're definitely going to want to consider, but you do not absolutely need. Let's look at her ult. Her ult is going to spread 4 negative effects instead of 2. It's going to double your negative effects here from the level 5. I usually, I think you'll notice a trend when we're doing these budget builds that we kind of stick to, most of the time it's the passives. However, in this case, I'm going to say that her ult is definitely, and that would be at 240. That's an S rank, and you should really do it. That's huge. Going from 2 negative effects to 4. That could get you a defense win right there. And outside of that is going to be a key ability for her to have in war and in raids everywhere. Okay, we're looking at the passives now, and I think a lot of these passives on the Asgardians need to go up. She's getting plus 5% max health, and she gets plus 5% max health when on war defense. For each non-summoned Asgardian that she's with. That one might not actually be as necessary anymore, depending on how you're using her. Can't really open that up, but I think that's all it does, is it just gives the plus 5% max health bonus. Scrolling this down over here on war defense. I can't really say that this isn't important anymore. I'm going to say that the ult is more important than the passive at this point, since it's kind of locked behind war defense, where this team used to be. But since we've kind of dropped out of the meta with Asgardians, I mean, everything out there is beating this now. It's just, it used to be an extremely overpowered team, as you might know if you were playing a few months ago, definitely like 6 months ago when it first came, when it first got reworked. But yeah, right now, no, I'm gonna say that it's nice to have, but it's not essential. All right, moving on to Sif. Sif, I would definitely put more into Hela than I would with Sif. And we're looking at her kit here. I never have touched her. I haven't done anything. No T4s. And I even took her into Dark Dimension 3, which was honestly a mistake. She was very useless in that. Did nothing for me. Some of that was because I didn't upgrade this. I'm going to say only if you have like a 6 or 7 red star on your Asgardians would you need to start considering dumping some T4s into these for various reasons. But right now, as it stands today, I would skip Sif. All right, Loki, let's have a look at him. I do put Loki on the same team with Hela when I use them in War Offense with Zemo and Hydra Grenade and Red Skull. It's a great team, by the way. I should have a video down there where I show it in use. Some stupid punch down or whatever, but it works punching up. It works on a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, this is a big one right here, and it's definitely an A rank. And I haven't done it yet, and it's really just out of laziness. It's not because it's not good. It's just because I've just never... I don't buy into war defense as much as I do offense. I pay way more attention to my war offense than defense, and you can tell that by the videos that I make where I use these crazy war offense teams where I'm taking stuff off defense. I just don't value it. I do have other things on defense, and I have put crazy things on defense before to help myself out there and my alliance. But mostly I focus, I'm going to get my wins, I'm not going to get losses. That's my first primary thing. And this is going to help you get wins right here in all modes with Loki. If you want to use Loki, you need this one. It takes it from one enemy that's going to attack. Well, I guess you still have a 75% chance that you'll get a second enemy, this mind control, where you select a target and you have two of the enemies attack that target. It's very good. And it's great to go from a 75% chance to a total. Absolutely, it's going to happen. And this could definitely change a match. But is it essential? I mean, I've gone for a long time without it, so no, I would not say it's essential. But it's definitely nice to have. All right, mirror image. This lets you apply stealth to self and all allies for 2 turns. All right, this is another one that I think this has dropped off. So I'm going to say that this ult is great. It would be nice to have, but it's an A rank. It's not an S rank. We're only putting things that are like S rank is like they're essential. This would be there. This is nice, but I don't think, you see the problem with it right now with this ability is that everything counters this. X-Force just eats right through stealth. There's a lot of teams that just don't care about stealth anymore. Symbiotes, another big counter that people are using on this. I believe Scream just goes right through stealth. She doesn't care. Not as important anymore. Not as big of a game changer as it used to be. Definitely cool to have this in raids if you use Loki in raids. I don't really. I definitely use Hela still, but Loki's dropped off for me. Might have to use him on the Doom raid now on the Mystic nodes, but really don't get as much use out of him. This giving you plus 10%, minus 10% to enemies resistance is very nice. His passive, but not essential. I'd say B rank, somewhere around there. Very situational. Can be like an S rank situation versus certain teams, versus certain nodes. But I just don't have the red stars. Many times, if I don't have the red stars on a character, I will not buy into them heavily. I just can't. It won't be as viable. All right, Thor, the mighty Thor. And we're going to have a look at him. I have never had a good Thor. I must have just recently got these 5 stars. I know he sat like 3 red stars in my roster for an unbearably long time. Never even took him up to tier 12. It's an oversight, right? But what are you going to do? Purple gear used to be a little more rare. His basic is trash. Nah, it's okay. You could do it, but only if you, like I said, you got to have high red stars. If you don't have the high red stars, you're not going to get the worth out of it. This ult is very nice. I would definitely put this in a B tier where you get an extra 10% chance to stun. It would be much higher if it was 100% chance to stun. I think we covered Thor in more detail when we did our Avengers video, which should come out before this one. And we go more into Thor's kit since people are using them on Avengers more now than we're using them on Asgardians on defense, at least up in the top 200. And yeah, his passive is not necessary for the Asgardian team for this configuration. All right, I believe finally, this is the last one on here is Heimdall. And I never did anything on him. Just to double check here, this one not necessary. Once again, if you have high red stars, you might get more out of this. But if you don't, it's not. This is nice, actually. This is nice because a lot of the teams drop heal block. Yeah, like X-Force drops heal block. Symbiotes drop heal block. This is a really nice ability to have in the current meta. This has gone up in value, I would say. Because it didn't used to be this way where you were dropping, I think this would be to like counter, this team used to try to take Supernatural versus this team. And this ability might have kind of countered that. But Supernatural really didn't work that well anyway, so it wasn't necessary, so I never did it. At this point, if you want a win with Asgardians versus Symbiotes versus X-Force, if you even want a chance, you would have to have this upgraded. So I'm going to upgrade this to an A rank skill. Not necessary at all, but definitely much better than it used to be. And that's his special at 220. Yeah, definitely something to consider if you value that. I still don't, so I can't get behind it. I can't say it's essential, especially if you're on a budget. Or if you're being threatened by a bullet. Come on, Hargrave, pull it together. Okay, the All-Seen. This is his passive. Gain 10% focus for self and all Asgardian allies on war defense on spawn. Apply defense up to all allies for 2 turns. This is very good. This is very good. Once again, I think that this character has raised him. As it has become easier to beat Asgardians, I think it would be more essential to have a better Heimdall, have a more maxed out Heimdall than you used to have. This didn't used to be that important. Once again, never even took this guy to tier 12. And I was getting wins with Asgardians back in the day. I just can't do it now, of course. I don't have anything in these guys. I don't even have ISO on them. We'll talk about that in a second. Maybe I'll put some ISO on them just for fun. Yeah, his passive. I feel like this is a high B, low A rank kind of situation here. This is. It would be very nice to have that defense up for 2 turns. Would it matter? I don't know. It might. That's something to definitely consider as his passive at 200, but not on a budget. All right, so what we're looking at for T4s, and I'm going to put that like a BA. I don't really know. It's definitely a good upgrade. If you have high reds, like I don't have anything stellar on this team. What I consider to be good reds is if you have at least 2 of them at 6, if you have 1 of them at 7 and everybody else at 5, if you're kind of got like a high average. Right now, my Asgardians, the way they stand today, are just average. Even, I would say even below, as I only have 3 of them at 5 and 2 of them are at 4. I would want to see 5 across the board before I just start maxing out all the good abilities, like all the low A, high B abilities, is what I would do if I had just a little more. If I had, a 6 on here and all the rest were 5, I'm like, that team could do something for me. It would be a solid, easy win blitz team. I could throw it on defense and it might actually get some wins because the power would be so high. It would definitely pull bigger teams from the enemy. But the way it stands right now, I'm going to get 0 value out of this on defense. Okay, so my recommendation for a budget build on this is really just Hela. Hela is worth it. And I would just do her, just make sure you have her ult. Her ultimate attack needs to be done. That's 240 T4s, so very cheap investment to have a good war defense team. If you're at like a low rank and you just want to, hey, what do I need to do to make these guys defense viable? My alliance leader tells me I got to have my Asgardians on defense. What makes them work? I would say Hela's ult is an S. Put that on. Passives too. I would consider, if it's a defense thing, investing in Heimdall, especially if you have good red stars on him. do his special and his passive, and that's going to have like your most kind of defensive value. And then I think, yeah, Hela's passive as well that gives you the extra health for war defense specifically would be a good one as well if it's for that. I think most people at this point just want to focus on Hela and fully max her out, go as high as you can with her. I will probably end up, after I get Doom and like the first time clear rewards, I might bring her up just so I can take her into the Cosmic Nodes. We'll see where the game is at by that time. I'm not going to plan on it early, but she is a very solid meta character still. And if I had higher reds on her, I absolutely would have taken her into Dark Dimension. I would have just done the cost and taken her in because she's really helping people out quite a bit from what I hear. Okay, ISOs. Once again, I'm only going to recommend level 1 ISOs. I'm not going to recommend higher. Higher level ISOs are like a different kind of animal altogether. Level 1s, even if you follow my advice, I'm not going to screw you up because they're free. And that's all I'm comfortable doing with ISOs, especially right now. There's better resources out there. I would hunt those out if you're really into ISO. Me, I'm just dropping level 1s. I see how the team works, and then later on, once I'm sold on it, then I will upgrade them as I see fit. And right now, because Blue ISO is on the way, we're sticking with level 1 unless a character is really good red stars, T15, then I will level 5 them. So level 2 through 4 are dead to me right now. I have a lot of them in my roster from before, but I'm not doing any new ones. It's level 1 or level 5 for me right now until Blue ISO comes and we find out what that's all about. So Hela as Raider, I think that is strong. That's her opening move as she hits everybody with her ult, and that's about it. Her basic attack hits multiple people, so I think Raider is good for her. It sets the whole team up. Striker on Thor just to get the extra damage. I think that's a solid move that I made there. For Loki, we went with Skirmisher. Yeah, just for the extra debuff pulling. He's one of those characters that doesn't do very much. I think his Skirmisher does trigger with mind control. I believe I did check that, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But when you target someone with mind control, you do drop a vulnerable on them as well, which is pretty nice for when his friends hit him, just to give him that extra damage when you do that. So that is a good ISO right there as well. Plus, a good candidate for might be a good candidate for moving it up to level 5 too. If you have a good Loki, as you can make sure you drop that defense down when you do that. And I don't think this doesn't drop any debuffs. I don't know. You can just use them to pull off buffs with that as well. All right, Sif. Now, I got to think about these from scratch because I haven't done them, and maybe we'll drop them on them right now while we're talking about it. Probably not. Honestly, I don't use these guys anymore. What would I do with Sif? So we have Hela as Raider. We have Thor as Striker. That's a good start. We probably want another Striker Raider kind of combo going on here. I would say Heimdall would be a good one to set up as Raider since he attacks all enemies and he does area damage with this attack. So I would give him Raider as well, just so he can drop out some more vulnerable potentially. And then I would set Sif up. I would set Sif up because she's your tank. She's going to throw up and she doesn't have any active healing. I would throw a Fortifier on her. Once again, you'd have to invest in it though. Fortifier at level 1 isn't going to do too much for you. So I might even at level 1 put Striker on her. But keep in mind, you will not want to keep going with that, I don't think. I think if you want to take her to level 5 ISO, it would be Fortifier all day to get her the extra barrier to make her a better tank. But at level 1, Fortifier level 1 is garbage. So I wouldn't mess with that. I would go, if I'm doing level 1 ISOs, which is different than level 5 ISOs, a different build. Raider for Hela, Skirmisher for Loki, Striker for Thor, Raider for Heimdall, and I would do Striker for Sif. I really like Raider level 1. Like, I don't know if that's the right move for Hemdall, but Raider level 1 is one of the best level 1 ISOs because you get just extra crit chance, which can just do extra damage and just turn the tide of a battle. Just getting a critical hit is always a good thing. If you'll notice in the game, if you ever like try a node and you say, oh, the RNG was really good on this, and I just went right through it, whereas other days I got stuck. That might be because you pulled a critical hit at a key time and downed an opponent that you otherwise didn't normally. Just change the way the waves dropped, and that can happen from getting those critical hits. So I always like Raider level 1 to give that extra critical hit chance. It does kind of help out. It just in the grand scope of things, it's like the best level 1 ISO in my opinion. All right, everybody. That's it for today. Once again, please like and subscribe and comment down below. Let me know what other builds you'd like to see. I'm just kind of working my way through them right now. Let me know if this is something you like. If you like to see other kind of content from me, leave a comment down below. Let me know. As always, we're broadcasting live on Twitch. What's up to everybody out there? I see Doom1603. Good to see you. Always happy to give a call out when I see people drop in. Make sure you subscribe to that as well. And until next time, hail Heartgrave.